Hey everyone, this is Chris from Know Your Why Recovery, and welcome back to Know Your Term. This is episode 9, and we're going to be talking about the stages of change. Now, the stages of change apply to the adoption of any healthy behavior or the cessation of any type of unhealthy behavior. They're part of the trans-theoretical model by Prochaska and DiClemente, and over the decades have been applied to various things such as mental health, addictions, and even weight loss. Essentially, any type of behavior that someone may want to change. Now, you may have heard of the stages of change before, but if you haven't, I'm sure you can recognize them when you think back about your own journey in change or maybe a loved one's journey of change. It's important to remember that the stages are not necessarily linear, and people can move back and forth between stages, sometimes never truly advancing in the stages of change model. So the first stage is pre-contemplation. In pre-contemplation, the person doesn't believe that there's actually something that needs to change, or they don't believe that there's a problem. Sometimes this is called denial, but it doesn't necessarily have to be denial. The person just doesn't recognize that there's something that needs to change. Next up would be contemplation. And in contemplation, the person is actually thinking about maybe change is needed. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe they're not sure if they need to change. Maybe they're not sure if they want to change. Maybe they don't think they have the confidence or the ability to change, but they're at least thinking about it. Next would be preparation. In preparation, the person's researching, they're forming a plan to change. And often they have a plan that they want to enact within a short and reasonable period of time, maybe within the next 30 days or so. We're not talking about having a plan for next year or 5 years. We're talking about something that's more immediate. The following stage would be action. Now in action, the person took their plan, they started working towards it, they started working towards their goal. They may not be perfect in it, they may mess up, they may not follow it exactly, but they're at least trying and they're putting an effort into making the behavioral change that they wanted to make. And then lastly, we have maintenance. In maintenance, the person has made the change that they wanted to make, and now they're doing the necessary behaviors to upkeep it. So for instance, in substance use, if somebody's goal was abstinence, the maintenance phase would be them in abstinence, maybe going to meetings, maybe going to therapy or counseling, abstaining from the substance over a long term. Now, sometimes the termination or relapse are added into the model as stages. We're not really going to cover that today, but it's important to know that sometimes those are recognized as their own stages. One of the reasons why I'm not going to cover that today is because when it comes to mental health and it comes to addiction, oftentimes we don't necessarily think of termination. We look at those as lifelong problems that require lifelong maintenance. So in theory, somebody could enter the maintenance phase and stay in it for the rest of their life. It's not exactly a belief that maybe everybody carries, but it's the most predominant in the field right now, and it's most in line with the medical model currently. As I said, there'll be some resources in the description below that will cover these stages in more detail. So if you're interested, go ahead and click. If you like our content, be sure to like, subscribe, share it, spread the word. We're just trying to out here educate people and spread the word about wellness and mental health addiction. And we'd love to have you, and thanks for visiting. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.